Well, it's that time again. Let's walk in faith, talk about anime, and grow together. Welcome to Reb's Otaku Talk. Hey, Otaku family. Welcome back to Reb's Otaku Talk, where faith and fandom collide. I'm your host, Reb, and joining me is my co-host, K2.
Howdy, howdy.
And Raver Mom.
Hi.
Together we'll venture into a world of anime through the lens of Christian values. Whether you're a seasoned otaku or just starting out your anime journey, this is the place where we blend our love for all things anime with a walk in Christ. Join us as we explore thought-provoking themes, inspiring stories, and tackle deeper connections between our favorite shows and our faith. It's all about finding God's truth in the worlds we love. This is your Christ Walk with Otaku Talk. Let's get started. So, this episode's going to be massively interesting because it's going to, I guess, piggyback off of a sermon I was writing for Sunday because I forgot to actually write a script for this episode, even though I don't think we script the grand majority of the episodes anyway. But to go along with that, Father's Day is this Sunday, or whenever you are listening to this, last Sunday. So, since we didn't do a Mother's Day episode, we thought it would be cool to do a combo episode of Mother and Father's Day. Now
Parents' Day.
Parents' Day. There we go. It's Parents' Day. Oh, boy. Okay. Don't look at me like that, K2. All right. So, we watch quite a bit of anime.
Yep.
And we've talked about quite a bit of animes. Who, since you know, Mother's Day is before Father's Day, we'll do the mother question first. Who would you rate as the best anime mom?
Ash's mom.
Ash's mom?
Mm-hmm.
You're 11 years old. No, 10. You're 10 years old. Get out of the house. Go ahead. I am glad to see you leave. Don't forget clean underwear. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna sit here quiet. You ain't gonna get nothing out of me tonight.
Just play it. Why do you pick Ash's mom?
I'm not telling you.
Why do you pick Ash's
You
mom?
you want stuff out of me? You gotta be nice.
I will be nice.
No, you
I
won't.
promise.
That wasn't
Yes,
nice.
I promise I will be nice. I will even edit that out. Why Ash's mom?
I gave my answer. I don't have to give a reason. K2, what do you think?
We do need to give a reason.
No, you don't have to have a reason. You just asked a question. You didn't ask why.
Now I'm asking why.
I think you should go, Rev. What do you think the best anime mom is?
The best anime mom.
And why?
And why? Only one thing's coming to mind.
Chi-Chi?
No.
Okay.
But she's like a mother-like image. She isn't actually the mom.
Okay.
Katara from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Okay.
I mean, they even did a whole episode of her feeling like garbage because everybody is, you know, like she's trying to be the boss and she's trying to keep everybody together and everybody's getting mad at her. And they have this whole thing between Toph and Sokka where Sokka expresses his respect for her and his love for her and how she has been a mom to him throughout them growing up because his parents, you know, passed away in the war.
Okay.
Or his mom did.
Okay.
No. Yeah, that's my answer.
I'd see her more like an older sister, but
I'm just saying
to the
that's
crowd, but
that's
I get
what
where
the
you're coming from.
episode, you know, portrayed her
Yeah.
as.
Me, I can't really even think of like an anime mom or mother figure in an anime for me.
Piccolo.
Yes. We'll save him for later. But I guess the mother from Spy X Family.
Haven't watched it.
I haven't either. I've just seen the YouTube shorts of it, so I'm like, oh, she seems like a good mother. We'll go with her.
I love that.
We don't know if she's a good mom or not, but she looks like it. We'll go with that.
What the reels portray her
Yes.
as.
So, why Ash's mom?
Ash's mom supported Ash in his journey and supported him in his desire to be the best Pokemon trainer out there. So, and she always asked if he had clean underwear, but that's besides the point. But she supported her son, even though she was worried and everything, like in the very first episode. So yeah.
I respect the answer. I mean, really. I joked about it at the beginning, but it is true. I mean, he always called her, and if he didn't call her, she was always worried and would try to chase him down, and would always give messages to him through Professor Oak, and I mean, all-time supportive mom, so I agree. Jeez.
You're the one that was picking on me.
Just having fun.
Uh-huh.
Just having fun. Okay, so who's the worst mom?
Chi-Chi.
Why is Chi-Chi the worst?
Because, like, she didn't... I know she's a strong person, okay? I get it. She's a fighter, blah, blah, blah. But she wants to get mad at Goku and all these other people because of the fact of, all this junk that happens to her kids, but she don't do anything about it. She literally sits there and complains. That's it.
Yeah, but what about we're going to use all the money
Dude,
on our
Bulma's
kids'
a better
education.
mother than she is, okay?
And they're not allowed to fight. They got to go to school.
Bulma is a better mom than she is.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I believe that too, but...
I'm just saying, like, every clip, every scene, like, when she's there, it's like, I'm gonna feed you guys, and how are you doing, and how dare you do this, and da-da-da, and it's like, all you do is complain. Okay, whatever.
Okay. K2, worst mom.
Come back to me on that one.
Come back to you. He's still thinking. If I had to pick the worst mom, it's funny. I have to say older Katara from The Legend of Korra.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you pointed it out in an earlier episode. I mean, you look at her in the original Last Airbender series, and that's like nurture version of Katara. You go to Katara and Korra, The Legend of Korra. She is bossy. She is controlling. Half the time, I don't think she knows what she's talking about. So either they could have really written her bad, or they really wanted to make her a control freak and, make her a very dislikable character to me in that show. Yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
Okay.
K2.
Worst mom for me is going to be Shiho Nisozumi, because she essentially disowns her own daughter.
Ah.
What is that?
Girls und Panzer.
Yeah.
He totally wants the conversation.
Yes.
Get there is what we're trying to do.
Yes. For those of you who listened to last week's episode, we had just started watching Girls und Panzer, and Raver Mom has not given us an inch on what she thinks about it. Just many, many, many faces of emotion. We don't know if she likes it or not. So we will be getting to Girls und Panzer later in the episode, but I agree.
Yeah.
I think the only sign of affection that woman gave her kid was in the last episode when her kid whooped her whole entire philosophy down to the ground.
Whooped her other kids can.
Yep.
And for 5 seconds clapped and smiled. Yeah.
Well, you got to think.
I'm changing my answer to what K2 said.
What makes her even worse is the sheer fact that her daughter, who is still by her side and playing on her team, is trying to point out that, hey, my sister, there's something about her. We got to watch out for her. And she's like, man, she ain't a threat. Forget about it.
Yeah.
Don't even give her the time of day. Just shut your mouth. Yep. She's nothing to us, and you're gonna beat her. No, that's not how that worked. So yes, I think I will change my answer to that as well. The mom from Girls Moon Panzer is officially the worst anime mom ever.
The main character's mom, because there are a couple other moms in there.
So I guess what we'll do is we'll put a poll up and we'll ask the audience what they think about it. But
there you go.
I think K2, you're right. So we're gonna put up a poll, either old Katara from Legend of Korra, Chi-Chi from Dragon Ball Z, and Nishizumi from Girls Un Panzer. All right. So now let's get to the dads. Who, I guess we started with Raver Mom for the moms. K2, who would you rate as the best anime dad?
I'm kind of torn on this. I'm debating between Piccolo and All Might.
Okay, so more father figure.
Yeah, more father figure than father.
Even though I think Piccolo, that's a little more debatable. He might as well have adopted Gohan at that point. But, of course, didn't he kidnap Gohan?
I think that's how it started.
Yeah, so Stockholm Syndrome. Okay.
Awesome choice. I love it.
But I like the All Might answer. We can talk all night on the Piccolo one. But, I think as a father figure, I mean, we talked about My Hero last week.
Yep.
And All Might really took Midoriya under his wing and really built him up and continues throughout the entire series to feed into him. Even at a point where he feels like he can't do anymore, he does.
Yeah.
Even if it's close, little to nothing, he still builds him up. Raver Mom, you got a dad?
I did, and then it went out of my head. Hold on a minute, let me think for a second. I don't know his name.
Okay.
I just know the character. It's Ponyo's dad.
Yeah, I don't remember the guy's name.
Yeah, he's basically got orange hair. He like wigs out. So Ponyo, during this whole thing, the character turns into a human, but like leaves home and tries to travel and blah blah. And Ponyo's dad, it's almost like he is the god of the sea kind of person.
He's the Japanese Poseidon.
Yeah, that's kind of the portrayal. I honestly don't know his name, and I don't know his actual role, but essentially that's Ponyo's dad figure person, and he basically does anything and everything that he can to find Ponyo, to make sure she's safe, and even putting humans at risk, which if you know anything about Poseidon, they try to stay away from the human world as much as possible. But I don't know. I don't know many anime dads other than the one that I think is, to me, the worst dad in the world, but which is who's in my head. So
it's okay. That's the next question.
I know, but that's literally whenever you started asking questions about the mom, I was like, ooh, I got a dad one. That's the worst one.
I got a dad one too.
That I know of.
I'm pretty sure we could say his name in unison.
It isn't Gohan.
It's not Goku?
Or no. Goku, yeah, no.
Okay.
No.
So, but yeah, I mean, that would be...
I'm blanking on his name, though, so I couldn't think of his name.
But, that would be my choice as one of the best dads, although I haven't seen a lot of anime, so... With dad figures, I should say,
Well, most of the time, whenever you watch anime, the dad figure is out of the picture.
My other one would have been, the dad figure for Luffy. The one that took him under Red Hat.
Oh, Shanks.
Shanks, yeah.
Yeah.
Just because he was kind of there for, and taught Luffy all about not just to be a pirate, but like the true meaning of being there for your family and friends. And, he taught him a better way of being, on the sea versus, one that steals and kills and does it for power and all of that. So those would be my two choices.
Mine would have to be the dad from My Neighbor Totoro.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
I mean, the mom is sick. They have to move. And the dad packs everything up with his 2 girls and he moves to a completely different place. And he's building this new life where his wife is having to stay in a hospital. And he's doing it all on his own. And even with work and everything like that, he is very kid-oriented. He is constantly there for his daughters and playing with them. And even while he's working, if they try to play a little bit, he, takes like a 2-second break to, oh yeah, cool, and then gets back to work. And I really think that, to me, he's one of the best anime dads.
That's a good one.
Okay.
That made me think of the worst mom and dad would be on the other Studio Ghibli one where they turn into pigs.
Oh, Spirited Away?
Yeah.
Mom, Dad, I don't think you should do that. Oh, it's okay. We'll pay for it later.
Yeah, basically. Like, they literally become pigs because they pig out all the food. Like, that's...
There's another one. I don't know the name of it. It's like they're like part fox or turn into foxes.
I don't know.
It might not be Miyazaki.
Is that the one where they, like, go into the world where they take all the random junk?
No, I don't think so.
So you're not thinking Oblivion Island?
No.
Okay.
Oh, you know what a good example of a positive would be? The parents on Summer Wars. That family.
That whole family in general? Yeah.
How they band together and... Like the matriarch, the one before she died. She would be a good positive.
Yeah,
Anyways.
The Jinohuchi clan.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I think that family just takes the cake. You got the mom sitting there constantly watching the kids' baseball games, crying, hugging the pillow, screaming at everything. And then you got all the moms in the kitchen cooking and the kids are running around and yeah.
And then the dad teaching his oldest son how to, like, doing karate or...
Yeah, the grandpa.
Yep.
Yeah, so...
Yeah. That's another good group. Okay.
That's an all-around good movies.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Worst dad, Raver Mom. Worst dad.
Spirit.
Worst anime dad.
Spirit. Hands down.
Yeah, worst dad.
I mean, like, I get he's all, caring and loving and wants to be, there for his daughter and stuff like that, but his antics going about it is just, like, oh, my Lord, like, he's making up for the fact that he messed up.
Yeah.
And then every night he's at some, whatever you want to call the lady house, the tea...
Gentlemen's club,
whatever they're called over there. Like, it's just... Like, I want to smack him.
Yeah.
Just stand there. Like, I know you got knives coming out your back, but can I just beat the mess out of you? Anyways, that's mine.
All right.
Spirit.
I think for me, the worst dad...
There's so many to choose from.
Well, I don't want to do the obvious, because we all know that Goku's the worst.
No, there's so much worse.
Funny enough.
I mean, if you're not going to say it, I'm going to say it.
Okay, go ahead and say it.
Show Tucker, or Shoe Tucker. Wait, how do you say his first name?
Is it Shoei?
Show Tucker from Full Metal Alchemist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we can just end that right there.
Why?
That dude just got up and left.
He didn't go for milk or anything?
Nope,
No.
he just got up and left.
Wow.
Yeah. We'll watch it.
It is on my list.
Yeah. I will say on the front of Full Metal Alchemist versus Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, I could not watch Brotherhood because I watched Full Metal Alchemist before it. And Brotherhood has more detail because it's more true to the manga. But I went from watching Full Metal Alchemist and tried watching Brotherhood, and I'm like, I just watched this.
Yeah, I'm the exact, but with the opposite. I watched Brotherhood and then watched.
So out of the two, I'd say watch Brotherhood because you'll get the actual story. But yeah, no, that guy just bye.
Yep.
That's bad.
Yeah.
And they tried finding him, and the whole thing is them, one, trying to get the brother's body back, two, trying to find Daddy.
Somebody else found Daddy, though.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
things worked out in the end.
Horrible. You know who another good mom would be? The girl from Eureka 7.
I'm not familiar with that one.
No. There's a whole bunch, like, they're on these, like, on the ship, and they fight with mechas and stuff like that. And there's a whole bunch of kids on the ship, and she is not their mom. But all the kids call her mother because she is the one who raises them, nurtures them, and everything else. So she's another one for good. That just came to mind. But we got a lot of examples of both good parents and bad parents.
Oh, I got so many examples of bad dads.
Would you like to continue?
I'll continue.
Give me your top 3 bad dads.
I got one Tucker.
Okay.
2 would be Shinji's dad from Evangelion.
Okay.
3, not an anime, but I'm going to include it anyway.
Okay.
Big E, the Emperor of Warhammer 40k.
Okay.
Worst dad.
Alright. I can take those. Okay, so just to put the icing on the cake. No bar on what type of media. So it can be Japanese, it can be Korean, it can be American, it can be anything. Who would you rate as the best all-time set of parents?
Oof.
What, Raver Mom?
I'm gonna say not Bambi. I'm sorry. I like
They got
Bambi.
shot.
I like Bambi for anyone who's wondering. That's just what came to
They're
mind.
horrible parents because they got shot.
I would say Nemo's dad would be the best dad for me.
Okay.
You want set of parents?
I mean, if you don't know, like, if you don't have a complete set and you have
Oh,
individuals, then
oh,
go ahead and
okay.
do individuals. as
Well,
well.
I just,
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure there are sets that are great, but I feel like Nemo's dad, of course, fictional. He gave up everything to make sure that Nemo was taken care of, and the whole story was him crossing the ocean to go get him. So he literally fought fears. He fought some worst enemies. He literally went through it to take care of his son and to go find him and everything. And then went through a whole nother movie of him taking care of Dory. So I don't know. To me, like, he is the all-around.
Well, yeah, I can agree with that because even whenever they were on their journey and they just went through all the junk with the jellyfish and they're coasting on the EAC with Crush and Squirt,
Yeah, I mean,
and he jumps out and they're like, hold up, how old are you? Because he remembered his kid,
Yeah.
wanted to know how old a turtle could get. 150 and still young, you know.
yeah. I don't have. I'm sorry. I mean, other than maybe the mom on Home.
Okay.
Her name escapes me.
Last name's Tucci.
Yep, Tucci. Tatuita something Tucci. Anyways, her, because she would fight with the aliens, the Boov. They would fight. She would, go every day. Where's my daughter? Where's my daughter? Where's my daughter? So, I mean, Disney kind of stinks when it comes to parents because either they're really bad step parents or there are no parents. I mean, if you want to, Tatiana's best friend, her dad's pretty cool.
You talking about on Princess and the Frog? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Was that the mayor or the governor?
But then if you go old school TV show, you've got Tim Allen and his wife. Mm-hmm. See, to me, that's where you get the good parents from. You got those good role models. I guess he would be, if you come out of the cartoon verse, they would be Tim Allen and his wife would be my parent group, whatever you call it.
Yep, the best team. Mom was Al.
The best mom was Al.
All right, I like the answers. K2, any universe, live action, animated, whatever, group of parents or individuals, would you say were the best?
I don't know. For me, it's hard to pick a mom because I don't really see any.
There's a lot. It's hard, ain't it? Yeah. There's not a lot.
Like for dads, I can think of a good handful, but mom, I don't know. Mom is hard.
Oh, I can tell you the worst.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of worst.
Plus the McAllisters from Home Alone.
That's what I was just thinking. That is literally what I'm thinking. The guy from the parents from Home Alone, Kevin.
They're the worst.
Yeah, hands down. Yeah.
If you're going to go on a trip, you never leave the house without counting your children, no matter how many you have.
Oh, they did count though, but they counted a kid that wasn't even theirs.
It doesn't matter though. You don't. You see face. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I mean, 4's missing. Anyways.
Give this to Kevin.
I mean, she did go as fast as she could, as hard as she could back to the house, but still, you never. That's like going on trip 101 with kids.
And how many times did they do it?
This was 3. You don't, we need to move on.
Poor Macaulay Culkin, scarred for life.
Yeah.
He was just acting the part. So.
Although I'm sure he had tons of fun in the process.
What makes a good parent?
I don't mean to laugh. That's a hard question for me. I don't think there's as a mom, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer for that. Well, I mean, I guess there are wrong answers, obviously, if you don't get shot by a hunter, poor baby. I don't know, parents have to do whatever they can to make sure their kids are taken care of. Whether it's, sacrificing something or, because you're sacrificed all the time.
So,
I guess sacrifice.
Good parenting, sacrificial.
Yeah, no matter what. Because, I've seen moms that had a bad situation happen to them and give up their kids because they knew that they just weren't, they were unable to just, they were dealt a bad hand, so to speak. And after much deliberation, they chose to give up their child. And it worked out. I've talked to many people that went through that process, and they have relationships with both their bio parent and their adopted parents, and I feel like that's as a mom, I don't know about being a dad obviously, but as a mom, to me, being sacrificial is probably one of the biggest things that can just make you a great parent. I got serious real quick.
Yeah, it's all right. Not everything on this podcast is going to be fun.
Yeah.
But, sometimes we got to get down to the serious part, because that's where we start to learn. So, no apologies for getting serious. Because that's also what we're here for.
Yep.
K2, I know you don't have any kids.
Nope.
Unless you haven't shared that with us. But I know that you have a deep respect for your parents.
I do.
You always talk with them with great reverence and respect. Growing up with them, what would you say would be like their greatest lesson to you for good parenting?
Greatest lesson would be to push your kids' boundaries.
So don't let them sit idle.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, and also be a teacher for them. Teach them right from wrong. Do the right thing.
Being a good example.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think for me, that's one of the biggest things that my dad taught me, and this is part of my sermon. So, Raver Mom, this is a spoiler alert for you on what you're going to hear Sunday. I went through a time of hurt and rebellion in my life. We were at a church, and some not so savory things went down that directly impacted my parents and indirectly impacted me. I didn't like how it hurt my parents with them being pastors. I thought they deserved more respect than what they got in this situation. So after that, I'm like, look, I want nothing else to do with church. Like, I don't want it. I was like, if this is the way that a pastor gets treated over something that they had nothing to do with, I don't want to be a part of it. And so I told my dad one Sunday, look, I don't want to go to church anymore. I'm done with it. Nope, sorry. And my mom, mamas, they're thinking the best for you in the long run, is like, there ain't no way your butt's going to church. But my dad, he looked at my mom and he quoted a Bible verse, and it's out of Proverbs chapter 22. And he said, we've raised him in the way that he is to go, and we're going to have faith that's the way he's going to, he's going to return to it. And that my dad was basically saying, we have taught him what he's supposed to know. We have taught him what is right. We have taught him everything we possibly could up until this point, and we got to trust that we taught him right. And 2 years of acting a fool, eventually I did, and I've shared parts of the story on the podcast already. God started working on me. God started showing up in places that I didn't think that he should have, where he would have been showing up. And looking back, I can see where he showed up a lot more than I thought. But in those times, I was confronted with issues where I had to think back to what my mom and dad taught me. How am I going to take care of the situation? What should I do? Whenever I was confronted with, drugs. Okay, no thank you. I got no want for it. Whenever I got stuck, in a group where gangs started showing up, I never ended up in a gang. I kept my head down, stayed out of it. And if it wasn't for the knowledge and the wisdom that my parents imparted to me, that could have gone way worse. Now, the end of the story goes, my wife showed up, and she's the one who pushed me over the edge the rest of the way and got me straight. So,
you're welcome.
But from all the stories I got from my parents on top of that, my dad, you find a good woman, keep her. It came to a choice for me. It's like either marry her or leave her. Pick one. Well, you can guess what I chose.
Yep.
And I don't regret that choice at all. Never have. But if it wasn't for the wisdom that came from my father, who knows what I would have done. I could have made the right choice, or I could have made a very dumb one that I would have regretted. But that's a very huge thing. And one of the questions that I pose in my sermon is, whenever we're children and we're in church, what are the things that we get taught in church? Raver Mom, what do we get taught in kids' church or in Sunday school growing up? What are some things we get taught?
Jesus loves you.
I know you started snickering with that, but that is one of the biggest things that we are taught in Sunday school. Jesus loves you. Well, back in the day, we even sang a song about it. Yes, Jesus loves me.
I sing a song to baby Bulba every night.
We also, growing up, my dad was a children's pastor. He was a career children's pastor for over 23 years. And I heard some lessons repeated a lot. I've heard some stuff that he never repeated. But, me and Raver Mom, being children's pastors and youth pastors in the past, we've taught fruits of the Spirit, armor of God, how to overcome fear, you name it. 10 Commandments, Lord's Prayer. This is all stuff that we are taught. And as we get older, we learn more of the meat of what the Bible has to offer. So we know what we learn at church. Second question is what do we learn at home? For some people out in the audience, you don't have that great of a home life, and what you learn at home is, I've got to survive. You learn how to fight. You learn the hard things the hard way. And then, for those of us, K2, like your parents,
Yeah.
you have a nurturing set of parents that are raising you up, and I know that you've expressed church in your past.
Yes.
And they probably raised you with some, biblical morals.
My parents were. They never did church. My grandparents did, not my mom.
Well, did your parents did they raise you with certain things like that your grandparents raised them with?
I would assume so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what you call a passively handed down moral. It's the whole right and wrong
Right.
thing. You're being taught that this is right and this is wrong.
Yeah.
A lot of times, as stuff goes down the line, okay, your parents grew up, this was right. So they're going to teach you what their parents taught them is right. And I know that's a lot of stuff that me and Raver Mom do culminates from what we learned growing up. But the whole deal is for someone who does go to church and then they go home and they learn something different, they get something very conflicting, and a lot of times they're going to go more the way that they learn at home versus what they learn at church. And there's a lot of biblical principles that, the Bible is possibly the biggest parenting manual ever. And it'll go through things, how to discipline, what you need to teach your children, how you need to teach your children, what they need to cling on to, what you need to be solid with, it is a parenting manual that doesn't stop. And a lot of times, because of where our country was founded and everything like that, we just passively have those morals that we hand down. And a lot of it is because a lot of biblical principles are found in our laws, or they're found in the system, and that's just
Yep.
Whether we know it or not, we are teaching the children biblical principles. Yep. And I think that as a parent, that is a very big thing. Is if you don't know what to do to raise your kid, and you have a big empty question and you can't get advice or an answer from anybody, turn to the Bible, because it's one of the most unfiltered things whenever it comes to parenting that you could find.
Well, years ago, the church was the one that people went to. When America was founded, there was the colonists. They did everything by what the church not demanded but taught them. And if they had questions, they would go to their pastors, preachers, whatever they called them at the time, and ask them for guidance. That's where parents would go if they couldn't figure it out by their parents or grandparents or whoever their mentors were. They would go to the church, and they would look to the church. Now, it's do whatever it feels like it. Whatever makes you feel good or whatever you think is good. And that's why our society is the way it is now, unfortunately. And there's so many empty holes that have been taught or not taught. And I'm not saying go to the church now, because there are churches that are misguided. You know, like it's very difficult to find somebody that can guide you the correct way. That's where trust comes in, you know, and making sure that you have a good relationship with the person and you trust them and you know them, that they can help guide you and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's completely true. I know me and Raver Mom have been to churches where we were under some pretty unsavory pastors that we wouldn't have trusted with anything.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have trusted him with my kids with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, it's where they say use discernment, and that's where we you know, like we did a question a while back about choosing a church from a question in a cup, and one of the biggest things that, you know, we recommended was give it more than one visit. You know, at least go for like a month. You know, that way you can learn about the church. You can learn about the staff and the programs and actually get to know what's going on at the church. Because then you can build a responsible answer as to if it's right for you or not.
And keep in mind, when we say church, we don't mean like a big building, because there can be a church that is in somebody's house, you know, and they are just starting out, and they are very wonderful people. And Rev's uncle started many a churches right in his living room, which to me is an amazing talent that you can have. But it's not the size of the building. It's not the amount of money that they have. It all boils down to the heart, like the true heart of the group, the true heart of the congregation. That's why we love the one we go to right now, is because, I mean, people's going to be people. People sometimes are just nasty. And you can't fault the church as a whole because one person isn't feeling your fancy that one day. And that's why we suggested to go multiple times, because just because that one person, maybe they were having a rough night, maybe they had a fight with their spouse, or they had a rough trip going to the church because their kids were just acting a fool. You know, you never know what's going on. But at the same time, that could be a person in the end, if you dismiss their one unsavory night, could be your best friend to help you through it all, you know. So it's again not the size of the building, the amount of money that's flaunted. It's the heart of the group. It's the heart of the pastor that is passed down to each individual that is sitting in the area group, whether it's in a church building, a hotel office, meeting room, a living room, out in the woods around a fire pit. You know, church can be had anywhere. So, yeah.
I know this is, getting off topic from the parent thing, but it's staying on topic with continuing this conversation. I used to work at a auto parts store, and I had a customer come in, and she had an issue with her car, and we do very light diagnosis at auto parts stores. So I went out there, I figured out the problem with her car, and she didn't have much money. She lost her job. She was going through a hard time. Daughter was sick. I mean, the lady just dealt a bad hand at that point. And so I helped her install the part, and I checked her fluids and got her car back to where it should have been. And while I'm doing it, I'm just sharing my testimony and what God has brought me through personally and as a husband and a father. And I get done and I look up, and this lady is just sobbing, and she is crying, and I didn't notice that people were watching her cry as I was working on her car. And I'm sitting there thinking, what did I do to embarrass this woman? And I'm like, well, is there anything else I can do to help you? And this little old lady, so I can't say she's old. She's about my parents' age, so.
Yeah, don't say old.
Say
vintage.
Yeah, vintage.
The new word. It's
vintage,
not old. It's
yes.
vintage.
She couldn't really speak. She's like, I wish I could give you something to return your kindness. And I asked her, I was like, what's upsetting you? And she started sharing with me everything that she's gone through, and she's like, what you are telling me gives me hope.
Oh.
And so I shared with her a little bit more. And this lady jumps around my neck and gives me a hug, and she gets in her car and she drives away, and waiting at the door for me is my manager. And I walk in there, and he's like, what did you do to that woman? And I'm like, I had church. It's like I told you when you hired me, pastor first, associate here second. I had church in your parking lot, and I got back to work. He couldn't say anything, because we're supposed to do everything for the customer, and apparently I gave the customer what she needed.
All right.
So, he couldn't say anything at that point, but it proves what Raver Mom is saying. You can have church anywhere. You can find your new catchphrase, fellowship. Is finding that fellowship.
Well, it says in the Bible, even two people.
Yeah.
It says where two or more are gathered.
Yep.
Two people can have fellowship.
Yep.
And have church.
Yep. I mean, whenever I worked at a warehouse, they called me the pastor of the warehouse. And it's because of the fact that no matter what walk of life they were from, even if they were trying to get a rise out of me and get me mad, it always turned into a conversation, and they would leave calling me pastor.
Cool.
I mean, church can be anywhere. I mean, we could have church right here in the studio.
I mean, in a way, we are.
Yeah. We got fellowship.
Now we just need to get a ring. Anything else on parenting? Any other thoughts on parenting?
Nope.
Any thoughts on fathers, mothers? Nothing?
Nope.
I am curious, K2.
Yeah.
So Rev's favorite anime. What was his favorite anime that he brought up to us in the very beginning that started his whole anime venture?
Speed Racer?
Yes. Did you notice that he did not pick the parents of Speed Racer as any of his choices? And I am curious as to why.
Pop's Racer was absent-minded, and he wasn't very supportive. He was supportive in his kids being involved in his business, but whenever it came to what they aspired to do, he wasn't supportive of them until it started lining his pockets.
Interesting. So he'd be in the not so great Goku category.
I wouldn't put him that far bad. It's one of those things where I feel like Pops Racer had to learn how to be a father.
Well, I think we all have to learn how to be.
So I mean, I guess in that essence, I would say he's more portrayed as a regular dad. His first son, he made a mistake. He kicked him out of the house. He told him not to come back. And he let that define him. And he started doing the same thing with Speed. And Speed started rebelling in a similar way. And Pops didn't go as far.
Mm-hmm.
But where if Pops Racer would have acknowledged the passions that his sons had and nurtured them in a different way, I think the whole entire series would have been different.
He needed to learn a thing or two from Marlon.
Yeah, just keep swimming.
No, that's Dory.
Just keep driving. Just keep driving.
Oh.
But that is the reason why I did not pick Pops. He's more I guess he would be the example of the type of father that we need to be. We need to look at what we do wrong, see where we can improve, and push to constantly improve ourselves and be better examples for our kids.
See, I think that's also what makes good parenting too. A good parent as in general, because when parents try to get the notion of I know it all, I can't look weak, I can't look like I messed up, I can't look like I faltered. Pride can start swooning in and taking over. But kids learn just as much from our mistakes as they do from our successes. I mean, if you say you're driving and you let something happen and like come out your mouth or whatever, and then you're like, oh man, I shouldn't have said that, they're gonna realize, oh, you made a mistake, and you corrected it right then. And that's something I know that you and I do, is like because I was raised, parents didn't let you see that. Like, you don't talk about the mistakes, you don't see the arguing, you don't talk about things. And where I think that's where they learn. How are they supposed to learn how to be a successful adult if they can't see you finish an argument, not just an argument, but a disagreement? How are they going to learn to communicate properly if your child doesn't see you come to some kind of compromise or some kind of answer or understanding of one another, and just learn from your own mistakes? You're human. You're a bigger human, so to speak, older. You're supposed to be wiser, and they need to see that. So,
yeah, don't be afraid to let your kids learn from your mistakes.
Yep.
And I don't care if you're the most perfect parent in the world, you're gonna screw up.
Yeah. Admit it. Just admit it. You're gonna mess up. And when you do, just be like, and you can, the funny thing is especially if you're a single parent, not that, I have had experience with that, but if you're a single parent, involve your kids into that too. Like, listen, I can't do this by myself. Admit that. To me, that makes you a lot stronger than you trying to take everything on your own.
Yeah, and I know there's points where me and Raver Mom have apologized to our kids because we messed up. We did something stupid, and we look at our kids and we explain to them, what we did was wrong. We understand what we did was wrong, and we're sorry that because we did this, you had to go through what you went through.
And they'll respect you a lot more. See, that doesn't diminish our, what would you call it? Like, we're still their parent. Like, they know we are their parents. We're not their best friends. We're not somebody you can, I mean, we are somebody that you can laugh and have fun with, but there's still a level of respect there that you don't cross, because we are the parent. We're the one that has the last say until you become an adult. And when you become an adult, then we'll have conversations if you live in our house, you know. But the fact that the way we parent, it's an anomaly, because the fact that either parents think they have to be their friend, or they think they have to be the controller, and there is a middle ground. There is a balance. There has to be a balance, because if not, I mean, no offense, the kid's gonna grow up very messed up in one way or another. So it's finding that balance and showing that you're human, you make mistakes, and just be honest.
Facts.
Yep.
I got a lot of comments on parenting, or thoughts on that, sorry.
Hey.
I need to stop saying that.
You do.
You do.
I feel like I go on tangents, though.
Tangents
I guess
are
that's
always good.
I guess that's why I say sorry, because I feel like I go on tangents and I take over everything.
You know, in the past couple of episodes, you have been the quietest person.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Our last episode, I think for a good half hour, you didn't say anything.
That was
I know
probably
it's
when I
because
zoned out.
I know it's because you've never seen the anime that we were talking about, but
Yeah.
you didn't. Of course, she went on a tangent last week too.
I did.
And it was a good one.
Yeah.
It's we are coming to the age, our vintageness,
Yeah.
where what's coming out of our mouths is the wisdom we've gained. We should not be embarrassed of wisdom.
Yep.
No, it's not that. I don't ever want to get to the point where I know it all. Like, I was complimented this week on my parenting and asked for advice on how to help their child. And I honestly didn't know what to do or what to say or how to respond, because I was floored by the compliment, because nobody's ever complimented me like that, because I feel like I do my best and I mess up more. I feel like I mess up sometimes more than I actually succeed. But at the same time, I don't give myself enough of credit, because I feel like I mess up more than I succeed. But I've been, like, I got this huge compliment this week, and it made me cry, because I didn't sit down and think about the whole thing. Like, I thought about what we were going through and what we were dealing with on how to deal with it. Like, not, and the child that was involved in all of this did a beautiful job, and the majority of it was because of our parenting. And that particular child is at the age where, I mean, they're going to do things on their own, and they know how to handle things. Their faith is built up enough that they have a strong foundation. Like, it's basically, we're seeing our works. We're seeing the fruit of our works.
Yep.
I couldn't think of it for a minute. We're seeing the fruit of our works, and it was the first time that I got to see that, and it was like a pie being smashed in my face. Like, do you see what you've done? Like, look at you, and it made me appreciate the way that we parent and believe that we are doing exactly what this family needs and exactly what people need to realize that they need to do. Stop the helicoptering parenting.
Yep.
Like, you're not doing your child any favor. You're not. And also at the same time, stop being their best friend. Like, you're not doing them any favor. They're not learning how to respect authority. They're not learning a lot of things that they need to learn. And but it kind of made me appreciate the way we parent, as not just a couple, but like as I parent as a mom. Like, I know, Lord, I don't want anything to happen, but like if anything ever happened to Rev, I know that I could do it just because we've built a good foundation already, and we've instilled different things in this family, and that's what you've got to do, and you've got to keep with it. And not, I mean, and parents sometimes struggle with being consistent with that. And then having good support, which I know we do outside our walls, and that helps too.
There is a movie quote that I have said since we've gotten married and had kids. And it's from a movie that Raver Mom does not like, but she likes the quote. And these two characters, you've seen the Bill and Ted movies, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was about to say, Lord have mercy. You know, Raver Mom is going to be at camp next week. You're coming over and we're watching Bill and Ted 1 through 3.
Yeah, that would, I don't want, no.
But the first one's sweet, though.
No.
I've gone through so many copies of the first one, it's not funny. But they were quoting Socrates whenever they said the greatest knowledge in the world is knowing you know nothing.
So technically you're quoting Socrates, you're not quoting Bill and Ted.
No, because whenever I think about that quote, I think about what they say after that. That's us, dude!
It's a good thing I love you. I mean, it is true. That was one thing that my principal thought was amazing. She even told me that, like, that's just an amazing way to look at things, is to know that you know absolutely nothing.
Once you get to the point in the Bible in a roundabout way says the same thing. Once you come to a point where you think you know it all, that's the point when you know the least of all.
Yep.
And it's a very, that's the difference between wisdom and knowledge. Mm-hmm. Knowledge, you can come to a point where you know everything, but wisdom tells you that you haven't even tapped into it yet. Wisdom tells you you'll never stop learning. I would tell my managers at almost every single job I ever had that if I didn't learn at least one new thing a day, no matter how random, dumb, or genius it was, that I feel like I wasted my day. So yeah, pretty much, it could be anything. I could learn anything. I could learn a new way to brush my hair, and at least I learned something.
Yep.
It's that state of constantly learning that is, that's the important aspect. And learning how to do one job many different ways, that's wisdom. I mean, me and you working in the custodial profession for a little bit. How many different ways is there to clean a floor?
A bunch.
Too many. But we have wisdom on what the most effective way is, what the most efficient way is, and what the most immaculate way is. We're that's that point where it goes from knowledge to wisdom. And that's just really important. Anything to add?
No.
You good?
I think I'm good.
Now for the moment we've all been
Oh,
waiting
jeez. Lord help me.
for. Now, Raver Mom,
Yes.
we watched Girls Unpanzer.
Yes, I love how I'm like the center right now.
The reason why you are the center is because you actually have a little bit of background information on it. Your curiosity seemed to have got the best of you.
Oh.
Can you give us some information about the show? Like when it was aired and stuff like that?
So it came out in 2012. It is, of course, as you know, only a single season. There are a couple of movies to go along with it, as K2 mentioned.
Yep.
That can give more detail, but it's like one of those not needed to be able to watch the show and understand the show.
Yeah.
Which I do like. I did like that you could watch the entire series, know exactly what's going on, know all the characters, all the different schools, know the purpose, know the, I did like that.
Yeah.
The series depicts a world where high school girls practice tank warfare as a sport, which is a unique blend of martial arts and tank combat. In the show, they call it tankery. The main character, which is Miho, Nishizumi. Nishizumi. She comes from a family that has a history of tank warfare, and she leaves the school that her family basically has built to go to a school that did not have tankery as an option. Little did she know that they wanted to start their tankery back up after 2 decades of not doing it. And she basically, the plot is that she's drawn back into the world of tank warfare, where the where the school basically decides to restart the tank club, and she joins the anglerfish team. She and her new friends face off against other schools in a competitive tank tournament. The show did expand, as we talked about, with movies and a couple of spin-offs, collaborations with other media like World of Tanks.
That they did.
So that's kind of a general breakdown of the show.
Now I gotta watch World of Tanks.
Yep, I know. So what is your review, Rev? What did you think of the show that K2 brought us?
It's a very, I call it bubblegum pop anime.
It is.
You share
moe.
the technical term. But I call it bubblegum pop anime because it is very much that, that feel. It's like, it goes along with like Lucky Star and different shows like that. It's the same feel.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, it was very much that. Yeah. That was its dominant thing.
Yes.
But I think, after finishing it, I think it was done with a purpose, because by the time you get to the end, they're not like that anymore.
No.
They've grown.
Yep.
It shows a level of maturity through the course of 12 episodes. I believe that the grand majority of the budget went to the action scenes with the tanks.
Did.
Because you can tell the difference.
Yes.
You can tell the difference between them just talking in a room and whenever they're on the battlefield with the tanks. So you could tell that the grand majority of the budget went to the tanks.
Yes.
The tanks extremely accurate.
Yep.
The tactics and everything that they used stays true to the way the Japanese make anime.
Yep.
And a lot of the stuff that they talked about, the way they do math and everything, is actually accurate.
Yeah, it is.
Which is really cool. If we were to have done this last week, based off of, because we watched half of it last week, if we would have done it off the first half, I would have given the thing a 3.
Okay, that's understandable, because the first half is slow to build.
Since we finished it, I would give it about a 4 or 5.
Okay.
Like a 4.5. So I actually enjoyed it, seeing the whole story come together.
I'm glad.
And I'm like, dang, now I know why Kate likes this.
It's a good thing we bought it.
Yes. We were trying to find it. There were so many different places telling us that whatever streaming service we had it, when in fact it did not. And Raver Mom decided to say, "Oh, go back to Amazon. You can watch it now." And I'm like, "Oh, you purchased it." But she did buy it.
$20
for us.
I mean.
Now she has to get the World of Tanks and the 2 movies, because I, unlike everybody else, have to watch the movies now.
Well, World of Tanks is a free-to-play game.
It's a free-to-play game?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to have to get World of Tanks going. K2, you're the one who introduced it to us. What's your opinion and your rating?
Me, it was always a guilty pleasure anime. I always liked it. I found it through watching old school AMVs.
Okay.
For some good old music, and I just liked it, so I got curious and picked up the show that way.
Okay. Now, Raver Mom asked me a question earlier, and I'm going to ask you, what do you mean by guilty pleasure? What makes it a guilty pleasure for you?
I don't know. I think the fact that it's moe, that the plot isn't too serious. There's no real consequences to anything.
So pretty much it is an anime that if someone were to look at you, they would be like, yeah, no, that's not something he'd watch.
Exactly.
And then you secretly enjoy it. Yeah. It's okay. I will join the club of that as a guilty pleasure. But now the moment we've been waiting for. Raver Mom, what is your review and rating of Girls und Panzer?
So I did not want to give you guys any information last week just because of the fact that I felt like rating it in the middle wasn't fair to the artist or the producer or anything like that. Dragon Ball Z is completely different because it, goes on forever. But with it being a short series, I thought the storyline went very nicely. You could understand it. Honestly, even if you came in the middle, you could still understand the premise of the whole thing. Girls in tanks.
Yeah.
And they are battling to see whose team is the best. I mean, it's a sport, so in their world. So, you could totally gather all of that. You could see the team or the club, so to speak, grow from just a few girls into, oh my gosh, I think there were almost 20 or so by the end. And the variety of personalities and character styles for each one, to me, was impressive. The very end, honestly, it creeped me out. The girl with the long blonde hair, and she had glasses that had the swirls in them.
The cat girl.
Yeah, I loved that she had glasses or had the cat ears on the top, and it showed her from the back, and then whenever it panned to the front, and I was like, oh,
you're creepy looking.
A little bit okay, but
you are the one who spends too much time in front of a computer screen.
But if you think about it, when you go to Japan, you meet so many different kinds of characters, and in real life, people are true to their own personalities, and I thought that Japan's style, culture, everything was kind of all in one in this one small season. Now, it did start out, honestly, my first thought, have you ever seen, I don't know what you call it, but whenever you're looking at a train wreck or something, and you're like, I just can't turn away, but I gotta keep watching because I want to know what happens. Okay, that's
spectator shock.
That's how I felt, right?
All right.
It was it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I don't now listen, if it would have kept with the pop, let me, through the entire thing, I probably would have walked off. Because I'm not the type of person that has to sit there and watch it through to the end, unlike Rev, who has to watch it through to the end, just,
Right.
But if I would have walked up, then I definitely would have given you my review on it. But I felt like it had enough to keep me going almost. I didn't hate it, but I wouldn't.
She really got into it.
Yeah.
But I did because I loved the way that I liked the way that they grew throughout it, this one girl who went into this school did not want to do tankery at all. She was dead set. That's what she even said. I chose this school because tankery was not an option. And because of the fact that her friends were fighting for her and defending her, that she literally just met these girls, it gave her enough bravery, enough courage to stand up and be like, all right, I'll do it.
Yep.
If they can have that much courage to stand up for someone they barely know, I can stand up and do this. And then for them to then name her commander, and then they all stood behind her, even when they were doing the crazy fish dance.
Yep.
It was awesome to see something that can happen in real life. That can happen at a regular school where people can defend and have courage to stand up for their friends and what they believe in, and then build a community and build a fellowship, right?
Yeah.
And so I felt like it was very relatable. And to me, I'm going to give it a 7.
Okay.
Just because of the fact that it would be one that I would go back and watch.
You're giving it a 7 out of 5?
Oh, I thought it was out of 10.
No,
so
it's out of 5.
I would say a 4.
Okay.
So a 4.
I
Sorry,
she really liked it.
I did. It's not one that I'm gonna go back and oh yeah, I want to start it over tomorrow. Like, it's not like my few series that I do have, but it would be one that if somebody wanted to sit and watch, or if like we were like, oh yeah, let's watch that tank movie or tank show, or like I would sit down and watch it.
Cool. What was your rating on it? I don't think
I give it a 5.
A 5?
Like I said, it's a guilty pleasure, so I'm going to always give it a 5.
So, Reb's Otaku Talk gives Girls und Panzer a solid 4.5 out of 5.
Yep.
Are you shocked by my review?
I am.
Honestly, my shock point came whenever we were watching it this afternoon, and K2, there was this part that happened, and literally she's all like tense. Her fists are clenched, and she's like wide-eyed, and whenever they got victory, she's like, yes! And then you knocked on the door.
I was just about to say, I think I know what scene you're talking about.
I was enjoying the combat, like the tactical part of it. The try to figure out, because like when I watch shows, especially stuff like that, I love that, like you can sit there. It's a game, you know, so you try to figure out, okay, are they going to do this? Are they going to do that? Are they going to do this? Are they going to win? Are they, because honestly, before we sat down and started, I had already saw exactly what every episode was going to be about. I just did, because I wanted to see, honestly, I wanted to know the ending, because if I was sitting here watching 12 episodes and they didn't win, spoiler alert, they did, if they didn't win, I was going to be mad. Granted, I still would probably give it a 4, but because, that's life, right? Yep. But like I got into it, and I think that's another reason why I give it a 4, because it's something that you can relate to so much that like it's like watching football or watching on television, because people do that all the time, right? It's basically you're watching a sport and you're able to try and calculate exactly, okay, so if they go up that way, oh my goodness, they'd used all that smoke screen, now where are they at? Oh my goodness, they're halfway up the stinking mountain already. It's things that you can, for someone like me, like I enjoyed that stuff.
Hey guys, for everybody listening, if you are a car guy, okay, there comes a point in one of the episodes, and I'm not going to say which one because I want you guys to watch it. They spout a whole bunch of technical mumbo jumbo, okay? But as a car guy, you automatically knew that they were going to try and drift a tank. And they drifted a tank like something out of Tokyo Drift. So if you want to see someone phenomenally animate a tank drifting in circles around a courtyard, watch it.
See, even that, as crazy as that sounds, they did a great job portraying it.
Yes, they do.
So it's, I think the whole aspect of it. Yeah, if I had to review it off the first couple episodes, I probably would have given it a 0. But at the same time, I kind of wanted to see how it ended.
Yeah, it is definitely the anime you need time to let it cook.
Yeah.
No. So we enjoyed it, Kate.
I am glad.
Thank you. See, you gave us something we enjoyed, and I gave you something that tortures you. You're welcome for getting into One Piece.
You're welcome.
Trust me, I get on to him about that all the time. Stinking long show.
But hey, here's something for you.
What?
You don't have to watch the One Piece movies along with the show.
I do know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there for everybody else too. If you don't watch the movies,
It
doesn't change anything. The movies, they can supplement to it, but it doesn't change a thing.
See, and I'll watch shows like that, to me, because like if I'm like really into it, diehard fan, then okay, great, the movies are an perfect add-on. But for someone who is just into it, like just for the enjoyment of the show, it's not one that, it's good to know that you don't have to watch the movies in order to have more detail.
Yeah, I have to say, going along with that, I liked Naruto. I like Naruto. I did not care for the movies. The movies, to me, It's like, this movie is pointless. Why? I could watch the whole entire show without that movie and be perfectly happy I watched the movie. Bad idea. I think there's a reason why I haven't gotten through Naruto Shippuden is because I watched the Shippuden movie first. And I'm like, I feel like this isn't going to do anything for me. All right.
So are you happy now that you know my review?
I am happy.
I am.
Okay.
I'm shocked, but I'm happy.
Yeah, same.
I enjoyed watching the movie with you, or the show with you. I love it whenever she gets into stuff because it's intense.
Not anime. One of the first movies that we watched that I got into, it was the Transformer movie.
Okay.
I love Bumblebee. I think, I mean, Optimus Prime is awesome too, but to me, Bumblebee's the best. And I literally was standing on the bed. Like, full blown, jumping up on the bed, yelling at the TV. Like, I got into it, and he laughed the entire time.
Yeah, I didn't watch the movie. I watched her. I had to watch the movie the next day without her.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are movies when I get into it, I'll get into it, but, yeah.
Yeah, I had to go out and buy her a Bumblebee Transformer.
Yeah.
Which is still on the shelf over her desk. So, yeah, and she had to go buy me the Optimus Prime Deluxe Classic set, which is pretty cool. So, we had our characters.
All right.
Yeah. Is there a movie or a TV show you get into like that where it's just like it's the intensity of it?
Ooh. I would probably say Disney's Star Wars Clone Wars, the animated series.
Okay. All right, I can see that. That was back before they started trying to mess stuff up. Yeah, me. It's the Speed Racer live action. Okay, it didn't do bad, but it wasn't the best thing in the world either whenever it came to ratings and being accepted and everything. But the last race, the Grand Prix race, no matter how many times I watch it, I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm just like, it's excitement. And then whenever he pulls through the finish line, I'm crying.
All right.
Every time. Love the end of that movie.
Yeah, they did a good job of all of the colors and the lighting and the whole, all of that. They did a pretty good job.
Yeah. Yeah, they tried to stay true to the... because they had actors from all over the world doing it.
Okay.
Which is very cool considering that's how the anime originally was done. But they wanted to keep it true to the Japanese culture, and the way the Japanese would see the future, and the way they wanted to stay true to that feeling, that atmosphere, and that's what they did. It wasn't true to how the original show was, but it was true to the atmosphere that they wanted the show to be. So, yeah, I like it. I had to go buy the Mach 5, Speed Racer's helmet, the toy. Whenever you
one
move
that was for the kid. That,
yeah. We went to see the movie in theaters. She made sure she took me to see it. We were up in another state at that point, and it was us and like this mom walked in with her kid. It was only 4 of us in the theater, and this kid had this Mach 5 helmet on. Had the Speed Racer helmet on, and I'm like, dude, I want one. And Raver Mom asked the mom where she got the helmet from, and we drove and we got me a helmet. But it's a really cool helmet because, it fits my head. It fits an adult head. But what's really cool about it is whenever you turn it on and you're watching the movie, the way they have it set up, if you tilt your head in the direction that they're turning, the helmet has speakers in it, and it does sound effects of the Mach 5 car.
Oh, that's cool.
So whenever you're sitting there watching it, if you tilt your head to the left, you hear the gear shift down, and you hear the the motor rev up, and you're on the turn with Speed Racer. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
It made his dreams come true.
I'm sure.
Yes, that's we can go down a rabbit trail with that one. But all right, anything else?
No, I'm good.
Nope, you're good. Okay, so right now what I'm going to do is we did pre-record some questions for my cup in a previous episode with the Otaku kids, and we are going to pull a question from the cup with the Otaku kids right now.
If you could find an anime character, who would it be?
Chopper.
Well, then, she knows who she wants to battle.
Yeah, you know why she wants to battle Chopper?
And why is that?
Because she's so cute, and all she has to do is give him that look, and he will melt, and then he will get cotton candy, and they will skip and eating cotton candy for the rest of the day and become best friends. There's no fighting that dude.
I think Chopper needs to be the one I want to fight too.
He's adorable.
All right, Princess Mononoke, you look like you're ready.
Usopp.
Usopp?
Or Usopp.
Usoft.
Usopp.
I've never heard of Usoft.
He's a lot softer than Usopp.
Don't let him use his 5-star.
I thought it was funny
Don't let him use his nose as a sword.
I thought it was
Pinocchio.
funny that his name has 2 P's on it, and if you look at him sideways, his nose looks like a P.
Usopp papa.
That's why his nose is a lot longer.
Don't let him use his 5-star shot.
So do you want to fight Usopp because you're a coward just like him?
Oh,
Because he's more of a coward.
He's more of a coward than you.
Easy, right? He runs away, does this whole pep talk thing. By that time, she's done beating the pants off of him.
I'm Captain Usopp. As long as you get him while he is monologuing, you're fine.
Right.
Don't.
And if he pulls out his slingshot to shoot you, just remember it takes an hour for him to let it go.
And if you zigzag like a snake, he'll never know. He'll never be able to see it coming.
Yeah,
Just go serpentine.
until the later seasons. In the later seasons, he'll catch you.
He gets better.
Yeah, he gets better.
All right, Kid Koopa.
Luffy.
I said the same thing just because I want to see his head go bouncing back and forth.
But I'm sorry, if you were to go up against Luffy, you'd be down after one punch. All that dude has to do is flick you on the forehead.
And he's got a big target.
Yeah, that melon right there.
Alrighty.
Well, I don't think we've answered this one. So,
No.
K2, who would you fight?
I don't want to fight any character from anime. I want to take the smart road and not take an anime fight.
And you pick Chopper.
I guess I'll go with Chopper.
You and Pika can skip hand in hand with Chopper eating cotton candy.
Yay!
And then you guys can sit down on a bleacher somewhere and laugh at Koopa and Mononoke after they get beat by the coward and the rubber man.
Yay!
Raver Mom, who would you fight?
I said who I would fight.
Who would you fight?
Luffy.
You want to? Oh, that's right. 'Cause you
But
want to
see,
see.
I just go up to him and be like, listen, dude, I just want to punch you one time to see how it feels and see what happens. That's it. I don't want to actually fight you. Let me just do it one time for fun.
What would he do?
And what's crazy
And
is.
I'll feed him afterwards.
What's crazy is,
So
is about to say, if you give him meat, he'd
Yep.
probably let
Yep.
you do it.
Yep, I can make a mean barbecue chicken.
Dude, I will fire up the grill
Yeah.
and feed you to your fill if I can punch you in the face.
One time.
Watch
That's
it go all the way back and slingshot back in.
Yeah, just one time. That's all I want. Just to say I did it.
Bet he would like your ribs.
Me? I think I'd take the smart way of doing it.
Yeah.
I'd want to go into the world of Summer Wars and get my computer avatar and fight King Kazuma. So I can get beat and humiliated, but never actually get hurt.
I feel like that's a little more of a coward's way out than picking an Usopp.
No, that is intelligence at its
No,
best.
don't pick Usopp again.
Oh my goodness gracious.
You know, it's awesome as parents that we get to have our kids involved.
Yes.
In the ministry that God has put us in. This is one way where we can train them up in the way that they should go, not to, not be ashamed of being a Christian, but also not being ashamed of who they are.
Yeah.
That's a really important part of this ministry is, what we are doing. Some people look down on, both in the church and in the anime community, and for us to do it and not be ashamed of doing it is a very big thing. So it's a cool thing to have our kids involved in that. So with that, join us as we close in prayer. Father God, we thank you for your word. We thank you for the fathers that you put in our lives that are both blood and not blood, Father God, to feed into us and to share with us and to train us up in the way that we should go. Father God, I thank you for the mothers. I thank you for the moms who pray behind closed doors, that keep their children and keep their communities and their churches in prayer, Father God. I thank you for the fact that no matter what, we know that as parents, that sacrifice is one of the biggest things that we can do as a parent for our kids. And as we wrap up today's episode, let us remember that you are with us in every story, whether animated or real. And I pray that you, Father God, will help us to see you in everything we do and watch. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Thanks for tuning into Reb's Otaku Talk. Don't forget to subscribe on our podcast on your chosen platform and like and follow us on our Facebook page and our X account username at Reb's Otaku Talk. And join us on Waku Waku, username Reverend Otaku 9000. Please leave a comment and a review on any of these platforms and share your favorite anime and God moments with us. Also, don't forget to check out Reb's Otaku Shop and don some merch, and be sure to grab a bag of Reb's Konkohi coffee. The link is down in the description. Until next time, I hope you keep your anime collection strong and your faith stronger. See you later, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Tune in now, the mic is live. We're diving deep into Taku vibes. From hero highs to kaiju fears, we're talking shows that bring the cheers. Revs on deck with truth and flame. Raver Mom and K2 bring the game. Faith and fandom in the same place. Only here we run that race. It's Revs! Ow! Otaku Talk! Where the spirit meets the screen. From Pokemon to Daegu Dreams. It's Revs! Ow! Otaku Talk! With Bible, truth, and anime power, we vibe and grow each Otaku hour. Trivia time, let's spin that cup. Kid Koopa's crown, can he keep it up? Listener mail and fan debates, we love the art the Lord creates. From Studio Ghibli to Naruto, God speaks in ways you didn't know. Stories rise like rising sun, we break them down one by one. Chew, this ain't just hype, it's revelation. Anime with holy inspiration. Otaku life with transformation. Faith and fandom, no limitation. It's Revs! Ow! Otaku Talk! From JoJo's post to Spirit Lead, we laugh, reflect, and plant that seed. It's Revs! Ow! Otaku Talk! So hit that play, don't walk away. Let's geek and grow in Jesus' way. O-T-A-K-U, talking truth in all we do. Revs crew, rolling through. Faith meets fandom just for you.